Hello, writers. Thanks for stopping by. I hope that you are doing well today. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about an important topic to writers of a certain age, which is just getting started with your writing. And if you found this on YouTube, I suspect that this is something that you may be struggling a bit with. And, we're at such a great point in our lives where we may have a little more time to explore our writing. Maybe we're looking at being empty nesters now, or maybe we're retired or semi-retired, and we just have this gift of more time to go ahead and get started with a writing project or do more writing that we've always wanted to do, because many of us feel this, that the clock is kind of ticking, right, in many ways. And we may have stories that we want to share, maybe even our own life story that we'd like to share with future generations. So what I'd like to do today is just share 3 tips for getting started with your writing. And the first tip is going to be a really simple one, which is simply to read, because that's where we get our inspiration. So I will really encourage everyone to go back and revisit some of those favorite books. One of the things that I read on all the time is my Kindle. I probably have 500 books on there at this point. And I love just having a whole library in my back pocket or in my backpack when I'm traveling that I can dip into no matter what kind of mood I'm in, whether it's to read some nonfiction for some research or to reread a favorite novel or a book of poetry. It's all there on my Kindle. So I do highly recommend that. Also, reread some of those classics that you read when you were younger. It's interesting how we have a completely different take oftentimes on books that we read, maybe in high school English class or a college English class. And now we get to revisit later in life. And I had this experience recently when I reread Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. Now, I read that book in high school English class, and I was not terribly impressed at the time. It didn't really hold my attention. However, recently I was able to reread that book, and I was amazed that it was the same book I remembered reading as a kid, because not only was it so richly written, but there was so much humor in the pages that I just didn't pick up on as a younger reader. There was just a lot of wry humor in there, and I think that having a little more perspective as an adult added to that richer reading experience. Revisit the classics. Also, check out the bestseller list on Amazon. See what's on the list. Read some of those books. You may find a new favorite. And we don't have to buy everything. We can visit our local library and use their services to pick up some of these books as well. So it's not all about buying things or spending money, which is important sometimes as we near retirement. Also, whatever you do, be sure to read in your particular genre. Now, if you are interested in writing thrillers or mysteries or memoir, then you should definitely look at some of the newer titles, the popular titles in those categories, just to get familiar with what's being written and get some ideas. And I'm sure folks in the comments will share what have been some of their favorite recent books, in particular memoirs, because I know a lot of people here are interested in sharing their own life stories. So, step number 2 is to create your writing space. This one can be kind of fun, actually, because you get to set up where you want to do your work. Now, I'm lucky that I have the attic here as my office, although it gets a bit warm in the summertime. So I have my own space to work, and I can pile my books up on the floor and they don't get in the way. But even if you don't have your very own office, you could use a corner of the dining room table. The living room sofa could be fine. Maybe it's a table at the local library where you can go and not have the distractions that you have at home, like the dirty dishes and the grass that needs mowing, that kind of thing. So wherever it is, and it can change, but find your writing space, because when you sit down at that space, then you're telling yourself that, okay, now it's time to get serious. I'm going to sit down and get some words on the page. Now, step number 3 is that we want to, sorry, looking at my notes here, we just want to get started with our writing, right? And yet that can often be the hardest part, just getting started. So the first 2 steps will bring us in that direction. But the third step really is to actually sit down and do some writing. And I'll tell you that the number one way to do that is to make yourself a schedule for doing your writing. So figure out if it's just one day a week. If it's 10 a.m. on a Tuesday when the library opens, you're going to be in there for an hour or 2 hours. You don't have to go overboard and be there all day, but set a schedule for yourself and don't just leave it to chance that, oh, I'll squeeze in some writing this week, but put it on your calendar. And that's really the most efficient and guaranteed way of getting some work done. It also helps to set goals. Now, on my writing days, my goal is to write 1,000 words, which I know for a lot of folks doesn't seem like a lot of words, right? However, those sessions add up. So every day, if you write 1,000 words, it's 5,000 words at the end of the work week. So that does make a difference. So think about a time to write and also a goal, even if it's just to write 1 page, because now you are a writer. You don't have to have written anything. You don't have to have published a novel. But simply by sitting down to write, it gives you that confidence as a writer to get going. Well, that's it for today. Just 3 steps to get yourself writing. I hope it was helpful. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope we can chat again soon about writing. Thank you.